from Usher to see exactly what he thinks that final cost estimate would be for doing these different items. So we don't have any final numbers just yet.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion by Hill,
Second.
second by Hermson. Roll call, please.
Schweitzer,
Yes.
Ingen,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Holland.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hermson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Let's go to item 8. Motion to adopt a resolution approving the proposal submitted by Abatement Specialist LLC for work associated with the Park and Recreation Multi-Purpose Facility totaling $22,620.
As we've discussed, we do have some asbestos in the tile down at the old Fairway building. And as Bob Beatty pointed out last week during our budget workshop, that there's areas that would make it difficult to adequately cover the asbestos. And I guess then we have to have that discussion. Do we even want to try and cover it, or now that we're in there, we're updating it and we're going to make it useful, do we just abate it and get rid of it? And that's kind of where I've come back to is maybe now's the time to just abate it, get it out of there, so we're done with it. We've gotten 2 quotes. One was 20, was it like 23 something?
23, yep.
The lower one here is 22,620, and I would suggest that we move forward and have that abated and then be done with it.
Bob mentioned something about having the ceiling tiles tested. Is that, do we know, is that going to be?
Well, they're in the process. They've been sampled and they're being tested, and I haven't heard that there's anything in them.
So that's not included.
That is not included in this
cost.
25 or this
22.
23. I'm sorry. Yeah, that is not included in this total. If it does turn out that there is asbestos in those, then that would be an additional cost. But I highly doubt that there is. And until we know what's in there, as far as asbestos goes, we wouldn't effectively move forward with having this abated until we know for sure that there's what the asbestos situation is with those ceiling tiles.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Motion by Holland,
Second.
second by Davis. Roll call, please.
Ingen,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Holland.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hermson.
Yes.
Schweitzer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 9, motion to adopt a resolution designating Veenstra and Kim as the engineer for the development and implementation of a comprehensive street replacement program.
I think we have a representative here tonight from Veenstra and Kim.
Hello, I'm Leland Belding from Veenstra and Kim. And I guess first off, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to do work in your city. Over the years, I've done a couple of projects here, and I've always enjoyed it. And it's also actually a very good evening to be doing this, because the presentation that you gave earlier, by what I could see on this side, was excellent. And that all kind of goes hand in hand with your pavement management now. Big push with ADA now, so if you go in and repair roads, you're expected to go look at the intersections, the curb ramps, and the pedestrian and bicycle travel way as well. Any questions?
Any
of
questions?
me, or?
You work from where? Where's your home
Coralville.
base? What?
Coralville.
Coralville.
Could you spell your last name for the record, please?
Belding, B-E-L-D-I-N-G.
Thank you.
And I understand there was a dentist
Dennis,
here
yes.
years ago. Could be family. I had a lot of Belding dentists, kind of from this area. So,
He was good.
We had a guy that embezzled the bank too. Probably wasn't.
I always wonder where that money came from.
It was only $80. Wasn't a big deal.
Well, inflation, time,
He specializes in a different type of bridge work.
Any-
I guess what type of I guess what will you put together, or how are you
The initial part is putting together the pavement management program. The city had C-Tree come in and do an analysis of the road. And what they have is they have a pretty high-tech van that drives around. It's got video and radar and all this stuff, and it gives you just a ton of data. It looks at roughness of the road. It also will do samples every so often, look at cracks, potholes, and then give you a ranking. So the city has that data. They've got a map. They've got a nice ranking. So now we take that information and go out and physically look at the streets. We've already discovered where the grid network lays in. You know, the north-south roads are in bad shape, but the east-west are in good. But the rankings of the east-west are all very bad because every time you hit that north-south intersection, it skews all the data. So now's the time to put kind of eyes on the ground. Also, when you look at the pavement management, you look at different layers of information. The sewer and water are very important parts of that. If you've got known sewer problems, I believe the city right now is televising their sanitary sewer. So we don't want to go out and put a brand new road on top of a sewer that you're going to have to tear up in a few years. Nobody appreciates that. So looking at the sewer system, the water system, the pedestrian travel way, and kind of layering all that information together to help prioritize that list that we've got a good start on from the C-Tree information. So that's the first step in that. And then it'll be developing individual projects, looking at cost opinions, and then at that time going into design and construction of the different projects.
And you'd spoken, I believe, of a committee or a panel or whatever of citizens along with the council working on the eyes on the road scenario to help when it comes down to actually taking whether this road needs to be priority first road fixed or maybe it needs to be second road fixed.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Great examples here tonight. I mean, nobody knows your community like the people that live there. And one thing I found in city after city, sometimes you go find the oldest person in the city that's been there forever, and they will have a pearl of wisdom about something. For example, I was at one meeting, and this road was designed a certain way, and nobody knew the way it was. And this little old lady stood up, and back in 1950, whatever, carload of high school kids died. They built things a certain way, and suddenly it all made sense, but nobody knew why something was done because it was so long ago. So drainage problems. The individual homeowners, they know, do they have basements that are leaking water? I know kind of some of the areas we drove around, kind of the southwest side, very big spacing between intakes, and it looks like there's water kind of ponding in some of the intersections, which is leading to some of the cracking and heaving. The water's got to go somewhere, and if it ends up in somebody's basement, those are the things that we need to know. So if we need to do a drainage project in addition to the paving, that individual homeowner information is, like I said, invaluable.
So you'll be able to tell if somebody needs to replace the sewer and water pipes that run into their home?
Not into their home. The homeowner's responsible from the home out to the main.
Right.
Sometimes when they televise the sewer, they can tell when they connect together that part's bad.
Okay.
But if something's bad beyond that to the home, unless the homeowner, they've got a high water bill, a wet spot in their yard that they're not sure why is there, but that would be the homeowner's responsibility.
I guess what I meant was, can you pick that up if the homeowners have a problem that they should be correcting?
Sometimes, like I said, with the televising, sometimes you can see some stuff. With the water, if there's known, kind of wet areas around you, you can, kind of guide them, or they can help guide you towards the problem. But some of those are pesky some of the water main leaks, they're hard to find unless they're significant.
One thing maybe I'm missing in the paperwork, what's going to be the cost of this service?
Well, at this point, we're moving into the, I guess the phase of putting together what exactly we're going to do with pavement management, costs associated. We'll supply our billable rates. Our billable rates are substantially cheaper than most of the other firms around. But that'll be the next thing that we go into.
And we haven't gotten as far as talking about, okay, what's all gonna be involved in that plan, so
Correct.
they really don't have a handle on exactly the total cost for what that would be.
Will that come back to us before we spend it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So it hadn't been bid.
No, this was a, I guess more of a qualifications, knowing you needed to do some work and finding a firm that.
You
that
can say
wanted to move
Charm if you want to.
Charm?
Charm.
That's right.
Basically, we had 4 different engineering firms come in, consultants.
I saw it, I read it.
And, to hear their pitch, and now we're heading that direction to see what they can do for us.
Yep.
Are we, on these streets that are really bad, are we going down to the base and repair,
It'll
fill in?
kind of depend on the street. When you look at the pavement life cycle, it's kind of a ski slope sort of thing. Starts off, the pavement starts to age and then it reaches a point where it drops off pretty significantly and then it's, kind of dead. So what we try to do is, as it's, maybe at that 10-year mark where it's starting to break down, if you can get a nice overlay on it or crack sealing or something of that nature, you can extend the life of the pavement. Some of them, like if you're gonna have water main work, sewer work, you might be better off just to let it go for a few years because you're gonna tear the whole street up anyway. And in